All right, hello and welcome to this video about Duke Energy in Florida. My name's Adam. I'm the creator of the Net Zero Home. I also wrote a book about residential solar, and I'll talk more about that in just a minute if that's something that would be beneficial for you if you're looking for education, about solar and what it would look like for you. So let's talk Duke Energy and net metering. So Duke Energy offers net metering, right, which is a solar term that allows customers to sell their excess energy back to Duke Energy, which is one of the ways that you can kind of offset some of the costs of going solar. So basically, what net metering is net metering means that any excess energy that your solar system produces, you can actually sell it back to Duke Energy, and Duke has what's known as one-to-one net metering, or at least they do at the time of making this video. What is known as one-to-one net metering, meaning that if you buy electricity from Duke for 22 cents per kilowatt hour, Duke will buy it back for 22 cents per kilowatt hour. It's one to one. What they sell it to you for is the same amount as what they buy it back to you for. Not all utility companies are like that. That's one of the things that makes Duke Energy a great a great way to go solar. Or Duke Energy has one of the best solar programs because they have one-to-one net metering. So it's helpful to understand that. Or it's helpful to understand what you're currently paying per kilowatt hour of electricity through Duke. So if you look online, you'll see that average Duke Energy customers are paying 16% or 16 cents per kilowatt hour of electricity. But then you'll also notice that there are other charges, like delivery charges. Sometimes you'll see what we call TOU, or time of use charges. And it's not like this is something that's unique to Duke. All utility companies do this. It's just kind of a way that they do it to kind of mask the real price that you're paying for electricity that they don't want you to know, but it's fairly easy to find out, just by doing some simple math, right? So the best way to determine what you're paying per kilowatt hour is to take your monthly bill amount, or at least just the electric portion of the bill. So if you're also paying for natural gas, you want to kind of back out the natural gas, so that's just the electricity that we're factoring in here. But if you're just paying for electricity through Duke, it'll be nice and easy. You just take the total bill amount, right, and then divide that by the number of kilowatt hours of electricity you used that month. So if your bill is $275 and you use 1,200 kilowatt hours for the month, your cost per kilowatt hour is 23 cents, or I think it's like 22.9, and I rounded up to 23 cents, right? So we've seen some Duke Energy Florida customers paying as much as 30 cents per kilowatt hour of electricity. So if you were paying half that much 2 years ago, right? So think about, if you've been in your home for a little while, think about, how much were you paying on average for electricity? If it's, if you're paying twice as much now as you were a couple of years ago, it's not unreasonable to think that you could be paying, twice that much, or 60 cents per kilowatt hour in another 2, 5, or 10 years, right? So with solar, right, and with net metering, we're able to lower your cost per kilowatt hour to 15 cents, sometimes less, right? Potentially reducing your monthly electric bill costs by up to 50% in some cases, right? I mean, we'd have to get an idea of your property, your roof, where the sun is hitting. Like, not everybody can even go solar, right? We have to disqualify people all the time from doing solar for all kinds of different reasons. So the best way is just to schedule a consultation, get with us, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll determine if your house is eligible, if your roof is eligible for solar. But if it is, the best part is that you get to lock in the lower rate for 25 years rather than being subject to Duke's annual rate hikes, right? So it's like not only is it lower than you're paying now, but you're locking in the rate for the next couple decades, essentially shielding yourself from inflationary rate hikes from Duke Energy, inflationary rate hikes from the utility company, because why is Duke going to continue raising the price per kilowatt hour every single year? It's because they're putting that money into infrastructure, repairing the utility, repairing the energy grid, all things that I talk about in my book, which I'll tell you about in just a minute. Before I do that, I just want to talk about choosing a Florida solar company or installer. I would recommend choosing a national installer with a local presence, right? So our exclusive solar installer is a national company who's done over 130,000 solar installations across the U.S. and has branches located in Fort Lauderdale, Sarasota, and Orlando that serve, the entire state, right? I also recommend installing solar panels with a company that has a production guarantee, which should not be confused with a manufacturer warranty, right? One of the biggest ways that homeowners get a bad deal in solar is when their systems start underperforming 5 to 10 years after the installation of the panels. So a production guarantee states the exact amount of electricity your solar system will produce for 25 years. So let's say it's going to take 15,000 kilowatt hours a year. It should say if it's going to require, if your home requires 15,000 kilowatt hours of electricity a year to power it, right? Then that you want that number of kilowatt hours to be stated clearly in the contract, saying that we guarantee that your system will produce, X, whether it be 15,000 or whatever your house requires, for the next 25 years. And if it doesn't, then we will come out, upgrade the system, add new panels at our expense, not at your expense. It's a very important part of just making sure that you get a good deal in solar, and to make sure that you are protected from some of the things that have caused homeowners to get a bad deal in solar in the past. But those are the two big things I would recommend: is going with a national company rather than some mom and pop local installer or something, right? And also, a production guarantee that states the exact amount of kilowatt hours that your system is going to use over the next 25 years. So I talk about this and more in my book, The Definitive Guide to Residential Solar in the U.S. In the description of this video, you can see how you can get a free digital copy or pay a few dollars shipping to get a physical copy mailed to you. And then we also, our website, thenetzerohome.com, where you can get a quote. We'll give you a quote for, what a solar system would look like, as well as, send you a book and a video and just stuff where you can learn more about how solar works. And then, some of the things to avoid when it comes to solar. It's just an educational resource that I created for homeowners who are considering going solar in the U.S. And the second section of the book is actually a complete breakdown of all the solar incentives, tax rebates, solar policies, net metering policies in all 50 states. So if you want to see that, or any, Florida or any other state that's represented in the book, it's all in the description of this video. Leave me any I'll do my best to answer any questions that you leave on this video about net metering, about Duke Energy in Florida, or about going Florida with Duke, going solar with Duke, going solar in the state of Florida. It's all in the book. So leave a question if you have any, and we'll see you in the next one.